get past the World Health Assembly without adopting this treaty, which would buy a lot of time for those that are against it. And so much remains to be seen, but that's the latest news.
Okay, Mark, thank you very much. Well, that one seems to me to be another power grab by the World Health Organization. Meanwhile, we're still trying to deal with what took place around COVID itself. And I just want to say a very big thank you to people north of the border who gave me a little bit of a prompt to cover some of the material about the Scottish COVID inquiry. And I've got a short section here, but we hope to have more in the coming UK column news edition. So this is BBC News here with a report, Scottish COVID inquiry, public asked to share experiences of pandemic. But when you get into the text, it says that the Scottish Government will, the inquiry will take place from the 1st of January 2020 to the end of 2022. It's investigating pre-pandemic planning, the decision to go into lockdown, supply and distribution of personal protective equipment, and how the virus was dealt with in care homes. It will establish facts and lessons learned. So nobody is going to be brought to book for this. It's all lessons learned. Let's just have a look at a very short clip showing how this inquiry is conducted, and a young lady speaking about how she was adversely affected during the COVID-19 period.
Now, good morning, Miss Barami.
Good morning, my lord. Our next witness is Kate Stott, and her witness statement reference for the record is SCI WT 0397-501.
Good morning, Miss Stott.
Good morning.
Right, Miss Barami's got some questions for you, and we'll just start when she's ready.
Thank you, my lord. Good morning, Miss Stott.
Good morning.
So starting with your background briefly, you had a few health issues as a child which resolved by adulthood. And as an adult, you began experiencing Crohn's disease, and alongside that, you have annual bouts of strep throat, alongside reactive arthritis and weakness in your legs. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Thank you.
I'll just say it's tragic what people experience during the COVID-19 period. And I think it's interesting how few people there are in that room, Charles. When I look at it, we've got a TV screen, and a man who's not even present, he's on a TV screen. One or two people in the room, but so many people adversely affected. So I found that very sad. If you want to see more information on, sorry, just pop back here. If you want to see more reliable information on what actually took place with COVID-19 north of the border, there's a very good Substack here, the Biologyphenom Substack. And I was kindly sent a couple of reports by Moira Dundee. So we've got Scottish COVID-19 inquiry impact hearing, health and social care. And there are a number of people who spoke out about really tragic events around what happened to family members and loved ones. I've got another one here. Highlights from this session include Miss Lorraine Mackenzie, representing PAMIS, speaking of the harms from lockdown restrictions on her disabled son, David. So if you want to go to this particular Substack, I'm told that the information there is extremely good. This is another one where a lady lost her brother. I think he was just 41. And she says the doctors were lying to me on a daily basis. Nurses were lying to me on a daily basis. Everything that was in my brother's notes was different to what I was being told on a daily basis. And inset on screen, we've got a freedom of information response in Scotland, where the authorities have been asked to tell the total amount of deaths where COVID-19 was noted as the sole cause of death on a death certificate within all hospitals in NHS Tayside from 2020 to 2023. And if you look at the responses, if it's 80 plus years old, which would be extremely vulnerable, in the top section, we've just got 5, then 7, then less than 5 and less than 5. So these are very small numbers of the people that we were all being told were unbelievably vulnerable. And then I'd like to just add to this short report that Moira Dundee, who UK Column knows as a very gutsy woman, and you can listen to my audio interview with Moira if you go to the UK Column website. She told me yesterday that when activists, including herself, tried and failed to hand in witness statements to the police, which included evidence of forged signatures, a police sergeant said, "I should not be taking on an investigation myself. This would go to a national COVID inquiry." The police know, we all know, COVID inquiries have no law enforcement powers, which I mentioned. They're simply there, they say, to find facts and report lessons learned. But Moira goes on to say, by refusing to accept evidence complaints against NHS doctors, Police Scotland is showing blatant selective law enforcement. Doctors are clearly being protected. And she then says this begs the question, if it's not a police matter, NHS doctors describing drugs which hasten death and forging patient signatures, why did the police investigate Dr. Harold Shipman? Either all doctors ought to be investigated when suspicion arises, or no doctors investigated. Harold Shipman was regarded as practicing excellent medicine by his colleagues, a doctor told a disciplinary hearing today, and that was as reported by The Guardian. So I'm going to say a big thank you to Moira Dundee for that little report. UK Column will do more on what's been happening north of the border in due course, but do have a look at that Substack.